the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Wednesday morning. We are so glad that you have joined us whenever and wherever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Glad to have all of you join us again. Appreciate all of you so very much. Randy, good to see you this morning. A lot to dive into, as always. I know I say that every day, but it's the truth. Like, everything changes so much, but good to see you this morning.
Well, glad to be here. And Brett, I got to say here as we start the podcast, we had a phone call on TV at lunch yesterday, and they were congratulating you, namely, Faith, of course, and all of our efforts on the Auburn Blitz from the podcast standpoint. And a caller from Montgomery and said, look, y'all, I mean, you got 14,000 subscribers. It's not normal. A lot of people with a lot more funding behind them that have grown their outlets nowhere near at the pace that y'all have. So you're doing something right. So wanted to pass that along to you. I know that you were probably out on the road working and didn't have a chance to see that. But Chuck, thanks for the phone call yesterday. And, you know, thanks for all of the TV and radio phone calls that we still get. We love this podcast format, but I mention every morning that I'm on that I still love the radio call-in setup, Brett, and we did it for so long, and we had so many great callers around the state that have been with us. So if you're just now finding us on the podcast, and we know, I see the messages and the comments coming across, I don't recognize a lot of those names. They're new,
Right.
And we can't say enough good things about what we're doing here, but mainly because of you finding us out there. But we do want to take the time to thank all of you that have been watching and listening to us on statewide television for 20 plus years, and keep doing that and keep getting those phone calls to come in.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate you passing that along. And again, yeah, I was out busy yesterday. Again, we're all pulled in a bunch of different directions. And, you know, I don't do the TV side near as much anymore because of this and for other things. But that's how you grow. You know, you have a good team and you figure out where everybody can pull their weight. And that's what we've all done. And, you know, it was funny. We were looking back just since you brought this up yesterday, pulled up this time last year, which is wild. This time last year, we had 300 subscribers.
Sounds about right.
I know it's right because I looked at the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it does take a lot of effort and a lot of grinding and a lot of 6 and 7 day weeks. And you know, I'll kind of go back. Everybody's busy, but in the fall when we really just exploded, you know, there were no weekends for us. I mean, a lot of times, you know, you can't just not go to work Monday through Friday, and then when you're covering a team like we cover on Saturday, you know, Faith and I were either on the road, in the air, somewhere, working till all hours. And then on Sunday, I mean, you know, you can say you gonna take a day, but you know, you got to get ready for the next week and there's preparation. So, hey, but look, we appreciate it. Like you said, all of the people that have found us. And if you are, you know, both venues are supposed to help each other. You know, we want people to tune us in all day. That's what we want. We want people to lock into Auburn Blitz every single day, all day, for all of your information. And, again, we've got some new content that comes out every day, too. We had another one yesterday that we cut. It's more of a short form. It's 15, 20 minutes, but it's something that we feel like needs some, you know, specific attention, not a full gamut like you get here at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I know you and I'll be on the noon show today together, and so we're looking forward to that. But first things first, let's talk about all the stuff here this morning. And, again, had an analyst. Everybody knows who Cole Kubelik is. That's part of the Auburn family. You know, we all went to school with him. He was at Auburn. He was playing football when I was a student worker there in the athletic department. So I know Cole, and you know, we have truly kept up with each other over the years. But Ben Laird, who's a good friend of mine, and several other players that we all hung out. He's got his own shows on ESPN. He's really, made a great career for himself. And I think you enjoy him breaking down film as much as anybody on Twitter and all. But went off yesterday. And look, I get it, man. And he's basically talking to the Auburn fan base and any other fan base out there that wants to listen, saying, quit hooking your wagon to two guys that ain't really done anything. We build these kids up and, star rankings, and you got to have them, got to keep them, blah, blah, blah. He said, what in the world had those two guys done that really helped Auburn the last year or two? And the answer, the true answer there is nothing. And he's talking about Cam Coleman and Deuce Knight. And, some of the antics that fans had been frustrated with. And I'm not taking shots at the person themselves, but when you get put in a situation now where it's big boy world, you want big boy money, it's a business, then you kind of need to act professional. And what he was bringing out was clown tendencies, antics that some of these kids have because they've been empowered, Randy. Like you and I at 17, 18, 19 years old, man, we didn't need to be given a bunch of power. We didn't need to be given a bunch of money. Let's be honest. We'd love to. Our families would have loved that. You know what I mean? But that shows you what happens when you give power and money to some kids, man, because then they go, well, they need me. I'm in control. That's the message that's sent. And then you get the results that you get. And then you get a fan base that clamors over some guys that go, well, man, the ship must be sinking. We lost those two guys. I thought his rant was spot on. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I did too. But I want to go a couple of different directions with this. One, there's going to be very few people here in the state of Alabama that's complimented Cole Kublik any more than I have. Brett will vouch for me on that. I love watching Cole break down offensive line play. I feel like I learned something. When I go and do color commentating with Brett, I at times want to add a little bit of flavor to it that, look at me on this screen. I was never an offensive lineman. I was not one that learned that position or was coached up to learn it. So I have to pay attention to those that I trust out there. And Cole's one that I've just always liked watching. But a couple of different angles after saying that, I give Auburn fans somewhat of a pass, though, because you're sold a bill of goods that if you don't go get these Bows and Joes, you're not going to compete with the Alabamas and Georgias of the world. And that is very, very true. But it takes an exceptionally good leader to keep all of that corralled. And you go during that stretch for Nick Saban at Alabama. The biggest difference between Nick Saban, and Gus Malzahn at Auburn is they had a very good way of keeping talented players in a team environment culture. Now, the last couple of cycles, especially, and go back to Gene Chizik, same problems with him. When you let there be a lot of gray area just because you're going after great talent, you're going to get clownish tendencies from time to time. We see it in the high school ranks. You can go from one coach to the next, the exact same kids that the coaching staff before had a major problem with. I mean, to the point of where they felt like they needed to get psychiatrists on staff to be able to deal with some of these kids. You and I have been in these meetings. And I won't name the schools that we've been in them for, but we have been in meetings where they go, look, the background some of these kids are coming from, I don't know how to get to them. And then the very next coaching staff, they know how to get to them. And they know how to corral all of that passion and the emotion that they've got and take it in a positive direction in the process. And so I also go to that, though, Brett. When your culture and your leadership is so poor and it's so awry, kids are going to gravitate to that too. And so I'm definitely not giving Deuce Knight or Cam Coleman a pass. But I'm also not coming on here and saying that I think both of those guys would do the same things at a different program that's handled differently. But when you allow it and it's no big deal and you turn a blind eye to actions like that, like wearing 3 damn watches out there on the field in a football game, I mean, look, man, this is not all about you, nor is it going to be all about you when you get – but there are those that can do that, and it work out for them. Dion being one that I remember back in the pros, it just worked out for them. So the problem is you have people that you can point to and say, well, they're doing it and it's good for them. But if you don't set a culture, and I know that's an easy word to throw around these days, but if you don't set it and stick to it, you're going to get these type of actions, and you're going to get a fan base that's going to be like, well, what am I supposed to do? I was told we need these guys, and once we get them, we can't do good by them, and they can't do good by us. So it goes both ways, Brett.
Well, it absolutely does. And the groundwork has to be laid, and the expectations have to be laid at the beginning. And everybody has to understand what is expected of everybody. And again, like you said, in the same breath that I said what I said about kids getting power, they're also still kids, and you have to lead them.
Yes.
I say this to you all the time about people working out in gym and stuff like that. And you go, man, if you want to get better, you got to go do it on your own and stuff. And I agree with that to a point. But if you're not getting coached up, if you're not getting led in the right direction, do you think a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid's just going to get up off the couch and go, man, I got to go get better?
Most aren't.
Most aren't. I'm not saying that some won't.
98% of the 98% of the population will never own their own business. It's the exact same. You've got to, if you've got to self-motivate yourself, most people can't do that. They don't have it in them to do that. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So yes, it goes both ways. And when you establish an environment and a culture that, you kind of let things slide, well, then you start seeing other things slide. And then it gets to a point where you can't reel it all back in. So again, it's not completely on the kids, but they've got to have, in the pendulum, I've said this already several times over the last few weeks, the pendulum swung so hard in the other direction here. The schools had all the power forever. The coaches in the schools had all the power. And then all of a sudden, the pendulum swung completely in the other direction. And now the players seemingly have all the power with everything that's been done and all the rules that have been set and through the legal system and all that. It neither is good. It doesn't need to be on one side or the other. It needs to be in the middle where both say, yes, you get this, but we get this. And I'm not going to go back down that whole path that we've talked about a million times about, well, the schools still do have some power. They just don't mow up and do it because they're afraid everybody's not going to do it, and they don't want to be on an island by themselves. But
yes,
if everybody banded together, they would still have some power. Ed said he didn't disagree with what Cole said, but several coaches weighed in and said they would not say that because it could hurt the school with high school recruiting, especially with five-star kids. Kids heard what Cole said. I get that. But at some point in time, this is the problem. Everybody is cow-tied back down to these kids. And you're worried about what they think about what somebody said when they're preaching what reality is. Every adult needs to stand up and go, we're not going to do it that way here. That's part of this problem is that you are bowing down and just allowing whatever and again, you've said it before. It's the tag we put on some of these kids. They're treated like gods coming out of high school because of star rankings and potential. And when they just get the red carpet rolled out to them, and in their mind, they're like, well, they need me way more than I need them. And that's where this thing leads to the portal.
Well, and, I've got to point the finger back at myself and to you at times, but I'll point it at myself here. I mean, it's my job with HSA to brag on these kids. My MO. I try to do as much as I can to build kids up because I mentally was one of those guys.
Yeah, this is not really about building a kid up.
Yeah, Brett, I think part of it, Brett, is you do for 3 years get constantly built up. You get built up and you get all of these great things said about you and the expectation level goes through the roof. And then a culture is not set that just because you have that much talent doesn't mean that you can come and act any way that you choose to. I mean, but that goes to leadership. I'm not giving that a pass. But I am pointing a finger at me going,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with praising kids and building them up.
you know,
But
I
you
think
got to
of,
set the ground rules and the foundation when they roll into your college that they can't just have free reign to do whatever the heck they want to do.
well, and I think of, you know, I'm back to pointing the finger at myself. You know, you take Cam Coleman and Ryan Williams one. I mean, how many posts and 15-minute segments have you and I done on those two for over the last 5 years?
A lot.
An awful lot. And Malcolm Simmons, throw Malcolm in the bunch.
And they deserve it. They earned that. I'm not saying that.
But it does. The culture that we live in with social media and the media world that we live around, you are getting built up more and more than ever in generations past. So your head, I mean, your ego has to be through the roof as a young kid when you've got two guys like us and everybody else here in this state telling you how great you're going to be, how much money you're worth. Social media is telling you that. You've got that outlet. I had someone kind of not attack me, but semi-attack me on social media this past week with some of my Quentin Riggins comments. And you know what? He was dead on. He said when Quentin Riggins was coming through, though, coming out of Robert E. Lee High School and all of those positive things that you said about him, he didn't have social media. There wasn't this avenue for you to put out things that build you up. And also, there's money to be made through that person that you create, that personification that you create on social media. Brett, I get it. I mean, you also have these schools that are trying to teach these kids in the right way, hopefully, to build their presence up. And I'm just glad I'm not the one to try to set up a process that works in this. Very, very difficult.
Well, and I think going into the next thing, the portal. And, you know, the portal is viewed by players multiple different ways, but mostly it's wrong because the portal's there for guys that have been, let's just be honest. Let's take out what's really going on and let's think back to what the true part of NIL and the portal was designed to do. Okay. They're not being used correctly. NIL was designed for you to go out and go get a sponsor on the side. You work out a deal to promote that product or that brand, and you can go get however many of those you want because you get to use your name, image, and likeness to make money on the side, right? In addition to what scholarship and all you're getting through the school. That ain't what's happening. It's straight up pay for play. Okay, so that's been damaged, and that was misinterpreted from day one and abused. All right, the second part, the portal. The portal's there that truly is there for, hey, kid been there 2 or 3 years, doesn't see a path to playing. He's going to get in the portal and go play somewhere else, go to maybe have to take a step down, go to a lower school, you know, where he can get on the field and play. And that is not what's going on with the portal. The portal, this is an open market free agency for everybody out there. And there's a very small, minute few that can go shop themselves and go get better deals. The rest of them see their buddies doing it, and they go, hey, you know what? I can go get in the portal too. And that's why 6,500 don't end up on a roster anywhere anymore, because in their mind, they're better or they can go get a better deal than what they've got now, and then they don't end up landing anywhere. I mean, Auburn's still got like 10 guys right now that jumped in the portal that haven't been taken in by anybody, so to say. So all of this has been abused. And so you've got certain players that can have the power to go do that. But now, like Kirby Smart said a few weeks ago, did you come to Georgia? Did you come to Alabama? Did you come to Auburn to get better, to develop, to play for that school? Or did you come here as just a stop along the road, as I send you over a text last night on another kid that's been to 7 schools now, and Georgia, you know, playing the game, kind of hypocritical here for Kirby, picks up a running back this week that has now been to 4 schools, that started at Oregon, went to Nebraska, went to Kentucky, and now has landed at Georgia. I mean, look, man, it is all clown. It's all a clown show all the way around.
I want to bring up a topic that we've hit on both days on the television side, and I want to get your take on it, Brett. And we've had a lot of phone calls on this topic, and it's right here with the transfer portal and the quarterback play and Deuce Knight. So all of the topics we've hit so far, and that is, why in the world would you go out in today's environment and recruit a 5-star quarterback into your program? I need an answer for that, because even if you don't consider Walker White a 5-star, we built him up like he was going to be the next perfect fit for all.
Now he's going to Central Arkansas.
That's my point, but still, the problem with going and recruiting a top-notch kid like that, Brett, you got to pay good money to get him. You know, a couple $100,000 is not going to get a high 5-star to come to your program.
No, it's not.
So Deuce Knight, I mean, $100,000 is not going to get him and buy you on a small scale what it's going to take to develop him. No, you got dead money, and a lot of dead money sitting out there to develop somebody for them. So let's take Deuce Knight, for instance. Deuce Knight comes here. I don't care. I don't know what he made. $750,000 to $1 million last year. Cost Auburn that. Dead money. Played one game. Didn't have to play in that game for us to win the ball game.
Nope.
So complete dead money. What does he do? He goes back to his home state, to Ole Miss, with that money that we spent on him to develop him for an entire year, for him to go over there. And I still think the ceiling's high. I'm not going to step on here and say negative things about Deuce Knight. But my point is, I would much rather it be the opposite. Let him stay at home, go to Ole Miss, let them spend $1 million and him not beat Chambliss out last year. And he get upset because he doesn't think he's going to be the starting quarterback this year. And then he bounces this way where potentially he will. Walker White. So the past 2 cycles for Auburn in recruiting, we've built up these quarterbacks that were both really good gets, and we still look down now, we don't have any of them. So my question to you is, why would you recruit that position in high school right now? I mean, now I'm not talking about a marginal 3 or 4-star guy. I'm talking about the high-end guy that's going to make Auburn fans happy.
So it's a very good question, and I don't think that's going to happen very much anymore. And it's funny you bring that up. I didn't know y'all talked about that, but it's funny you bring that up because Faith and I talked about this yesterday, that the mindset of how you recruit is changing. And it's crazy with the landscape and all the things that we've seen in college football, how now when we used to talk about how important recruiting rankings were coming out of high school, I don't think that means much at all anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're going to go out and try to get 25 and go get a 24/7 or on 3 or whatever the heck rating system out there. Like, I think it's going to change their game. Like, this portal thing means way more. If everything stays the same, like, I'm going to pull up what I pulled up yesterday, the top 50 quarterbacks in the portal. Number 1 was Sam Leavitt. Okay. He ends up, man, that guy shopped all around, ended up at LSU. You know, you got the kid from North Texas, Drew Mestermaker. Then you got Brendan Sorsby that was at Cincinnati. And then you have Byron Brown from South Florida. And look, I'm not too sure the 3 of the ones in front of Byron Brown is better than him. And I'm not saying that because Byron Brown's coming into Auburn. I'm looking at this objectively at the other guys. Josh Hoover from TCU was behind Byron Brown. I'm not picking Josh Hoover over Byron Brown. I'm not picking Brendan Sorsby. Their numbers weren't better. I mean, Sam Leavitt's been to the playoffs, and I think he's a really good quarterback. But when I look at raw numbers, I mean, in athletic ability and things, I'm looking at Byron Brown. So to go to your point is that a 5-star guy coming out, Keelan Russell for Alabama, or Deuce Knight for Auburn, or any of these other ones, they're not playing at bigger schools right out of the gate anymore, unless something catastrophic has happened. Amen. Okay. And so, yes, is it gonna reduce what they can demand? Is it gonna help Troy's and Jacksonville States and those schools of the world? Because will those kids end up going there now instead of going to Georgia and Alabama and Auburn and Florida and Tennessee? Probably so, because they're going to go get on the field and play. Agreed. And get some tape. And then, just like you said, let somebody else develop them, get them to the point where you can just go pluck them. And look, that's going on at the lower level. Those schools have known that for years. But you know what? Now they're like, hey, I'll embrace it. We're going to get a kid that otherwise in the past we never would have had a chance to get. So all of this has changed. All of this mindset has changed. And you're right. How much money are you willing to pour into a guy coming straight out of high school? Like Jared Smith, for example, for Auburn. top-rated defensive end from Thompson. His film from Thompson was phenomenal. We all said on here, got to have that kid, can't let him leave the state. He didn't. He didn't play very much this year, did he? He played some. Now, there's no part of me that doesn't think Jared Smith's going to be a dog, and I think he's going to play a lot more this year. But he could have easily gotten in the portal this year and left and gone somewhere else. Thank God he stayed.
Same as Deuce Knight.
Same thing. It's two different situations. One left, one stayed.
That's right. But you don't know which one's going to stay.
You don't know. That's the thing. That's going back to the portal. The portal is just an open market free agency. It's all it is, with no rules or regulations. Oh, you want to get in the portal? Just get in the portal. The only positive thing that's happened is they took the second one out.
Agreed.
And I still stand by that. Like, thank God I don't have to get on here. You don't have to get on here. Faith doesn't have to get on here. And for 3 months, talk about another spring portal window while we're going through spring practice and worried about, hey, one of the guys that we just covered for 3 months may not even be here anymore. I mean, that is, at least is a positive there.
Well, Ed asked a question with us being the high school guys. What's our thought of the change in overall dynamic of recruiting high school players? And I think that's what we've said here in this segment is we don't like it at all. I mean, I love the days where you go out, you recruit a guy, you develop a Damian Craig. He may sit over there a couple of years out of Blount High School, and the next thing you know, he's going to be the starting quarterback for a few years at Auburn. Love those days, but those days are over. So the point is not what you yearn for, but live in reality. Brett and I talk about this all the time from the high school side and the college side. Tell me what the rules are. I'll figure out how to play the game. The problem with the college system is even last year during the recruiting cycle, we acted like we were going to try to play a different rule than everyone else did, and it hurt us. So, but just set it down, tell us what the rules are, and we'll play it. I do think what Brett said is where you're going to see the things change. I think the UABs, the Troys, the South Alabamas, the North Alabamas of the world are going to get an opportunity to get a 4-star quarterback into their system, have him play there. I'm talking about come in year one and demand playing time at a place like that, and they be able to say, yes, you're going to play there. And then
because from an elite talent level, they're not going to have anybody on the roster that would be of a Deuce Knight or of a Keelan Russell that would go in and play.
And we got a state full of them this next year.
Yep.
And this is an amazing class of quarterbacks in the state of Alabama this next year. The 2 top ones being Travis Bourne and Gunnar Rivers. But there's more. It's not just those 2. I mean, it's a great class. But I look at all of them, and I don't think they're going to sit anywhere for 3 years.
I mean, you would want to take almost any of them, but the reality of them getting recruited and you thinking he's going to step on the field day one and play is almost a joke.
Well, and Auburn, let's go to the topic you just brought up. Auburn didn't lowball pay Byron Brown just because they're paying him $3.5 million a year, and he's worth it. But he's proven himself. He's
proven himself. He earned it. He proved himself.
He earned that. I'm good with it. I think that's got to be. And you look at Ty Simpson. If the numbers are right, 3 SEC schools have offered Ty Simpson $4 million, and then Miami comes in and offers him $6 million. If the numbers are right, I told you this 2 years ago, and you pleaded thinking this was the correct way to go. That decision by Miami may be the exact decision that everyone needs to make moving forward. It's worked out for them twice now. Look, they're in a championship game now, going and paying, $4.5–5 million to a Georgia quarterback. Cam Ward comes in a couple of years ago. I think they pay him.
He got him going in that direction.
Pay him $3 to $4 million, which was a couple of $1 million more than I think Auburn was willing to pay at the time. Get them going. But I think that's the plan moving forward. Go get a Ty Simpson that's proven himself, that's taken a lot of snaps in the SEC, that you see a lot of the attributes that you want to play quarterback for you. Pretty much what you're seeing for them right now. Bring him in. You're only going to have him a year. Pay him the $5 or $6 million, whatever it'll take, and have a positive year, and then go find the next one.
Yeah, the funny thing about Ty Simpson's, he actually rode it out and stayed. You know, he's kind of an anomaly. And somebody asked me yesterday about our quarterback room. And they said, what do you think about it? I said, I don't think anything about it. I don't think any of those will be here next year. Like, if I'm going to base the way things have been going, like when I look down at Tristan Tia and, whoever else that you want to add in here, Reese Brush and, there's a good chance none of them will be here next year. Now, does Alex Golish think one of these guys is the future? Maybe he does. But my mind tells me, and I know yours does too, that for 2 years now, we've had a completely different quarterback room. All of it has been completely different. And there's no part of me that didn't feel like that's going to continue to happen, because Byron Brown will go to the NFL. I don't know that either of those two guys that I just named will work their way up. And the kid that transferred in from South Florida, I mean, does he really think he's going to take the reins over next year? Again, they may. I don't know. They may just
will go spend $4 million on the best one.
But again, the thing that's probably going to happen is what's been happening now.
Yeah.
And so again, there's no other way to spin it, and I think that's kind of where we are. But let's get to some of our partners, because we couldn't do this show without them each and every day, and we appreciate them so very much. We start with Sensa Green for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensa Green. They are the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama. Proud supporters of Auburn Athletics, proud supporters of the Auburn Blitz podcast. If you need a new unit or something fixed on yours, heating, cooling, insulation, they handle it all. Sensa Green for your heating and air units. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama. They work with all types, municipalities, educational institutions, companies, whatever it is. You got a major project, lots of money on the line, you better know that once they turn the keys over to you, that's it. So if there's problems and things that didn't get done correctly, that's on you now. But you hire Scout Program Management, and they make sure it's all done correctly by the time you get the keys to whatever the finished product is. So I'm telling you, they're the best in the business. There is nobody else that does it better. They'll manage your project from start to finish. ScoutPM.com. Bunker's been with us really since day one. We appreciate them so very much. Alan, KJ, West, always great to see those guys when we roll in over there. The food's outstanding. And somehow Faith pulled off some kind of special menu item where they only serve her that menu. I said, it's crazy. Nobody else can get it, but then she gets it. So anyway, the food, Randy, is phenomenal. The atmosphere, they've completely redone the place. I mean, 2 stages, lots of space, 50 parking spaces. Like, it is the place to go in downtown Auburn. So if you haven't done that yet, shame on you. You got to go check out Bunkers. That's all I can say. And then the Cart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. My man Harrison down there, he will put you in an Easy Go, a Cushman, a Yamaha, a club car, whatever it is that you're looking for. They're all great. And if you can't figure out which one you want, just get one of each. Like, I'm giving you permission to do that. So go down Highway 280 right there before you get into Dayville. And once you glance over and see the 8 billion golf carts over there, you know you're in the right place. The Cart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. I'm giving you permission today to go buy you a golf cart. Okay? You can thank me later. All right. Yeah, we get to cover great quarterbacks in high school, and we love them. And we think, and in the past, you would go get a guy, and you would say, man, that's the future. He may not be ready this year, but it's not the future. You can't do that anymore, man, because, Deuce Knight decided 1 year, and that's it for him. He's going to go look somewhere else.
Walker Wright, same.
Yeah, the problem is, you see what you see a lot of times that's not getting documented. These guys hopping, and they go do the same thing they were doing at the school they left. They go sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, Baylor. Did Walker White really think he was going to beat Sawyer Robertson out? Sawyer Robertson, through the first 4 weeks of the season, had the best numbers of any quarterback in the country. I thought he was going to be a Heisman guy. And so did everybody else. You look at, Trinidad Chambliss, like you were saying. Does Deuce Knight really think? And I think Trinidad Chambliss will get all that overturned, and he'll come back to Ole Miss. So is there any part of Deuce Knight that truly thinks he's going to get in there and start? He's going to sit another year. I was telling you and everybody else, the only options out there for him to transfer were Ole Miss and Boston College, and the only one that he was going to have a shot to really play immediately was Boston College. Okay, so look, no, I don't have a problem with a kid saying, okay, it didn't work out here. I don't G-haul with this staff. You know, it wasn't what I thought. You get in the portal, you leave, that's fine. But like Kirby Smart said, sometimes you need to kind of stick around a little bit. Sometimes you need to kind of develop a little bit. Sometimes you need to quit worrying about saying, I'm going to go over here and I'm looking. When you're already somewhere, you're already looking to go to the next spot. How about work on yourself and try to improve your trade and get better so you can get on the field and play?
It goes back to what you said, though, Brett. It's so much easier said than done to pitch that to someone in today's leverage game environment.
But I just think a lot of people need to put the spotlight on that. A lot of these guys aren't moving on to go play somewhere immediately.
No, I think you can try to show real numbers. Maybe that's a way that you spin it.
I think you do. I think you start telling them, like, hey, man, you can get
it hasn't worked. It sounds good for people like me and you and Kirby Smart to say, but it's not working. My point is, if it's not working and that's a stat that you can throw out there too, then why go that direction? I personally wouldn't go that direction. I'd personally keep $4 to $5 million on the sideline, knowing that I got to go buy the best quarterback in the portal every year that I can get while it's set up like this. Now, if a couple of the things that you've begged for come into play, then you totally change that. And maybe that's the reason that those things will come into play. One, you sign with somebody, you got to stay there 2 years. Okay? Totally changes. Because within 2 years, that quarterback's going to be developed enough to whether they know they're the guy and you know you're the guy. Then you're willing to maybe have some dead money sitting on the side. But the problem is if you're only there a year and you paid $1 million, $1.5 million out to a high 5-star guy, that dead money is gone. And it's going to help.
Hey, you know what will happen, Randy? When you sign these 2-year contracts, those offers coming out of high school are going to go down. You know why? Because of what you just said. They're not going to have to go out there and pay an exorbitant. They'll have competition, but the portal's going to dictate them not getting a higher number.
But you'll be willing to go get them.
But that's my point. The point is now you're saying dead money. It ain't as bad because it's not as much, and you know they're going to be there for 2 years.
I disagree with you. Let me tell you why. It's dead money going to one of your rivals to beat you by you developing them with that dead money. For 2 years that you've asked for, Brett, I can absorb that.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
But the problem is when I pay them for a year and they go somewhere else.
Well,
I totally wasted that.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that you go pay that money even though they're not playing immediately. You know they're there for 2 years.
Oh, I can.
At the end of 2, they may, like, think about this. If that were, let's use the Deuce Knight scenario in this deal. You know he's coming back this year if he'd have signed a contract. Byron Brown comes in here, Deuce Knight gets even better. He develops even more. At the end of that, Alex Golich goes to Deuce Knight, goes, I ain't going to the portal, man. You are a guy.
$4 million.
You're our guy.
Here you go. You're worth
you're our guy.
We're going to go pay somebody else.
Look how good that works out for everybody.
Agree. And
look how good that works out for the kid. Look how good that works out for the team that he's on. I mean, why can't adults figure this out, man?
Well,
it is unfreaking believable.
Ed asked a question here, and he's got one name on here. First off, Jamison Roberts, I think, is a junior. Is going to be a senior at Saraland. Am I right by that?
That's correct.
I don't think he's in Kingston's class, but Roberts is another one of those going to be a great senior quarterback that I'm questioning, and I don't want to question it. I want somebody to end up with him and him have success. I cheer for our high school kids here in this state. Anybody that's watched us knows that. Even if they go to Alabama, I may not say it too clearly on here, but I am cheering for them if they came out of this state because I'm passionate about that, and you are too, Brett. But Kingston's one you and I know. And, like, wonderful family, great work ethic, all of the things that you're looking for from a development standpoint, he's doing. He's working his rear end off, and his family's working hard to make sure that he's exposed to the things that make him successful when he gets in college. I see it firsthand. But back to you. I worry for him, man. Like, if Auburn got him, I think he's going to be the number 1 quarterback
It will
recruit in
be.
the country
It will.
his senior year.
It will be.
If Auburn goes and gets him and we've got a 2-year contract deal, Auburn may be willing to pay him $1 million for each of those years, $2 million exposed, develop him, explain to him that, yeah, we may have to go out here for the first year or two and pay $4 million to $5 million for a transfer quarterback.
Yep.
But I'm willing to pay you a couple of $1 million to develop you, knowing that third year, maybe even the second year, you're going to be worth the $5 million price tag. But Brett, until you sign that
until you
contract
sign that, hold
him,
anybody accountable, it's just it's open market, man.
To me, it's where I started this. To me, if I'm Golish and SEC coach, I'm not recruiting them. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to go if it takes me to spend $4 to $5 million to go try to get them. I'm going to keep my eyes on them because I love that kid and I have recruited him and I know about him. We'll keep my eyes on him. But in about 2 or 3 years, I'm going to go offer him whatever it takes to get him back here. But I'm going to let somebody else spend their dead money to keep him.
No, that's it. I mean, it's no different than,
it's sad, man. It's sad that's
well, we've got the solution. If somebody would open the damn ears and listen, we've got the solution. I don't know why it's so hard to get some collective bargaining going and just quit acting like this is an amateur sport anymore and quit acting like kids going to class matter anymore. I heard another analyst say that yesterday. Like, we just keep acting like everybody's going to class and everybody's doing things and everybody's going for the scholarship. They don't even talk about that anymore.
Brett, is it different than when you and I were in school? I asked this on the television side. 5 days in, you can't jump into class after the 5th day.
You got like a grace period of registration. Once it's over.
And it's 10 days you can drop class.
Correct.
So really, you can't even get out of a class after the 10th day.
And there's still kids traveling around. There's 2 days left in the portal, like to get in the portal, but they've still got guys out there touring schools. I mean, trying to figure out where they're going to go.
Academics that's over.
It's been thrown to the wolves, and nobody cares. And it's sad. It is a society that has diminished getting an education that matters. All everybody is concerned about is paying an 18 or 19-year-old kid as much money as they can pay them and getting them there to win a football game. And we have thrown all the ethics and morals and everything else out the window. I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. It is exactly the truth. And I don't know why it's not been done. And I know people are fighting in Washington and all that, but get to the table, get this done, quit acting like this is an amateur sport anymore, and get these kids to sign contracts, lock them in places, and hold them accountable. And the same thing. You know what? You always said, well, these coaches can up and leave and all that, and they could. But guess what they'd sign? They signed contracts, and there was fallout that happened with those contracts. If you left early on your own, there was a buyout thing, or there was a clause for the other school to have to pay whatever the difference was. There was retribution to that. There's nothing, man, here. If a kid decides, and that's why you see Troy Aikman and you see Shaquille O'Neal and some of these guys, they go, Charles Barkley, they say, I love my school, but I ain't writing a blank check to some of these kids. It ain't so much as even thrown up a bird finger to me. And ain't said one daggum thing, thank you, nothing, told me to go kiss off. I ain't doing it anymore because they don't even know who I am. And so get contracts. I'm going to make a shirt. Can you make me a shirt? Make contracts happen. Do something. And so I don't know where Randy went. He just went away. So I'll keep going on here. Again, get your comments in. The red shirt rule. I want to shift over and talk about the red shirt rule. To me, this is crazy too. I think we got him back. I don't know where he went. I don't know what happened there. I guess he went to print the shirt that fast, everybody. Like, I asked for a shirt. He said, I'm on it. He went to the back. He's already got the thing printing back there. So, but no, I wanted to shift over and talk about the red shirt rule. Again, here is another example. Coaches getting together and going, well, let's up it to 9 games. I mean, okay, that's fine. It's fine now because you ain't got to worry about holding a guy out with 9 games. You can go, well, we can just play him. We can get at least, hey, there's a good chance he's not going to be here next year. Hey, but we can get something out of him. You don't think if Deuce Knight, if they were worried about trying to preserve him in a year, negotiate, if they had 9 games, he couldn't have been put in one of these games a little bit earlier? And because you go, well, we might as well use him while we got him because we might not have him. So for the colleges, that's a benefit. And for the kids, that's a benefit. I think it's a benefit all the way around. But I've also heard, why do you even do that? Why don't you just tell somebody, we're going to go, you got X number of years to play
5.
college football.
You got 5 years.
Make it 5. What?
You get
Heck,
hurt,
we got
you get
people in
hurt.
there 6, 7, damn 8 years. But let's say 5.
There's no medical red shirt. There's none of that.
It's just you got 5 years to play 5, man.
You got 5. Yep.
Why do we have to come up with this 9-game redshirt rule?
It's gray area on everything. I mean, it's the point I was making in the very first segment of this show. It's like dealing with the federal government and taxes and everything. Tell me the damn rules and let me figure it out.
Please.
If you want to change the rules, I'm good with it. The biggest problem with college sports right now is it's a moving target.
Well, the goalpost moves every time.
It's a moving target, man. I feel very confident, and I'm sure most of you that are tuning in out there that have had some success feel very confident that if you tell me the rules, I don't give a damn what they are, I can play them, and I'll figure out how to win in that set of rules. But when you don't know them from one day to the next,
Makes it real hard.
Hell, it makes some decisions you make really, really hurt you. You know, like let's just take equipment. You go buy equipment. One year you can write it all off. Next year you can't. If you don't know what those decisions are that are being thrown downhill, you can't make the proper decisions. And college football has no leadership. College sports have no leadership.
It's embarrassing. Like it is. Yeah. It is embarrassing. I don't really know of any other word that can describe it any better. It's frustrating. I don't know that who likes this? Like seriously, like I know the kids, the freedom for them to jump in the portal and the NIL is great, but Charles Barkley said it. There's only 1% of these kids that are really taking advantage of being able to move around, and the Cam Colemans of the world or the Caleb Downs of the world who everybody would take. And
but we're killing 80% of them.
Dead.
I'm not saying it's full. I'm not saying it's 99%, but there's 80% that we may be totally knocking out of college athletics as a whole. And don't even get me on another women's sports rant.
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
Like we don't have time to discuss how.
Well, I'll say this. I will say this since you brought that up, and I'm not going to say any more about it. But the fact that you got to go to the Supreme Court, the fact that you live in a country now that you have to debate whether you go to the Supreme Court to decide if it's okay for a biological male to go play in a woman's sport just blows my mind.
It does. Me too.
You know what? I'm sorry if that makes somebody out there watching mad. I don't understand. I've got a daughter. You do. I don't understand. It's not right. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care what context you put it in. The fact that you're having to go before the Supreme Court and decide if that's going to happen just is mind-blowing to me. I don't understand it. I don't. And where is that fair? Can somebody tell me that?
I don't get it all the way around. And, you know, Trump has, in the last couple of weeks, made some comments on college sports in general, college football, and he's made comments towards some semi-Title IX deals that I think should be coming down the line. Because if you're going to kill women's sports, you're going to kill track and field, you're going to kill the soccer environment that we've built, you're going to kill basketball. I mean, our women's sports on a worldwide level are way better than our men's. I mean, way better. And why is that? Because of what we do in the colleges.
The Olympic sports are dead. If this continues to go down this path and you're not going to fund them. And look, I think some good points are being brought up about the free market out here buying teams. I know that's crazy to hear. I know some people out there going, what is he talking about? Like, it's already happened with Utah. And go read about it. And who's the first one in the SEC to what domino falls in the SEC first? What firm comes in and buys the Florida
marketing
Gators,
rights, the marketing rights to
the
your athletic program.
the Florida Gators. Now all of a sudden you have split from that university, and they don't have to abide by these rules. And when you don't have the funding, and it's all on the colleges to fund those sports, maybe they don't have the means to do it. We don't have time to do that. I'm not going down that road.
Let me go down one more quick road for 2 minutes, though, because you segued into it. And that's toward the high school ranks with the public and private, Brett. We've had a lot of conversation on the lunch show about that. It's just what you just said. The moment that you make certain decisions, do not come back and complain when they're not abiding by the same set of rules that you are. Because what's happened in these bordering states and some other states around the country where public and private have split is the private schools now have the opportunity to use NIL. They have the opportunity to coerce your kids out of the public school system by all means possible. And in the states that that's happened, that's exactly what's gone down. The private schools have increased enrollment. They don't have to worry about playing with that multiplier. They don't have to worry about all of these things that have kept them at bay. And it's helped them and it's hurt the public. You can spin it the opposite way if you choose to. But what I'm saying here on whatever today it is, January the 14th of 2026, don't complain in January 14th of 2027 that 3 of your top players out of your public school are now playing for a private school with NIL money going to them. Don't complain about it. You asked for this. It's the same with what you say on that equity stake, Brett. It's fine, but know that there are some other opportunities that are coming down the line that you may not like.
Well, and nobody on here may care. I mean about Olympic sports, and you know what, and that's fine. Everybody's got their own thing.
But
and
Title IX does.
Yeah, maybe that's where we are in this country. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one, but all right, basketball on the road tonight at Missouri. Missouri is 12-4. They dropped a couple that probably when you look at it, they're probably a little disappointed, but they've had some pretty good wins. They went into Rupp Arena, I think, got their first win ever in Rupp Arena. Now Kentucky's not very good, but for the most part, Auburn's coming off a very good showing against a good Arkansas team. I thought that was impressive. Texas A&M, they let that one get away. They had a 16-point lead, and really there's no excuse for that. But the constant for Auburn right now, and the guy that seems to have embraced and looking for a leader on this team, is Keyshawn Hall. And Keyshawn Hall was named the Dick Vitale National Player of the Week, and he deserved it because over the past 2 games for Keyshawn Hall, here's what he's averaged: 32 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. He's the complete guy. Had his 6th double-double of the season versus Texas A&M. He's the first Auburn player to score 30-plus points in consecutive games, and I can't remember what the stat is on that. But Keyshawn Hall, we all knew, we said it before the season and a few games in, better be thanking the Lord that he didn't get in the portal and go somewhere else. Because you take him off this team, but I don't know what the record is. And I think he kind of I think it was him and one other that got in the locker room before the Arkansas game and kind of talked to everybody, or maybe during practice that week. And that's what this team needed. I was looking for a guy to step up. Now, there's plenty of guys out there who can score 30 points a game and kind of do their thing and be a selfish player. I think Keyshawn Hall's trying to step into a leadership role in this team, which was much needed. And you got to have somebody that can rally everybody together and bring some continuity. And I'm glad to see not only is he your point guy on the floor, is making, scoring, bukus of points every night and making plays, but he's also becoming and emerging a leader on the floor and off the floor.
Well, let me start with Missouri. There's 2 programs I'm thinking in our conference that's getting more with less, and that's Vandy and Missouri. Over the last couple of years, Brett, Missouri last year put a really good product out there on the court. When you watch them play, they play the game the right way. I don't think they're overly talented, but even the games they're losing, they're in them. There is no quit in that group. I like the way they play defensively. it'll be a tough, tough win for Auburn. But I'm going to Auburn now. Man, I was so impressed, and I have been impressed by the effort that Auburn's given, but you got to clean up some of the things on the court that's costing you ball games. And one that we cleaned up in the recent win is the ability by Tahad. I'll start with Tahad. Much. And it may cost him points. It may cost him not averaging 17 and only averaging 12. But I tell you what will be noticeable. You know, one of my favorite teams, of course, my favorite team right now to watch in college basketball is Purdue. And why not? Braden Smith's the reason I love watching Purdue. Because that guy's going to go get 12 to 17 assists every damn night he's out there.
Every night.
And if you are playing with someone like that, everybody's playing better. I'm playing better on defense. I'm blocking out. I'm doing all the things I normally wouldn't do if I'm sitting there watching somebody play one-on-one basketball. And Tahad has the skill set and the ability to be a 10 assists a game guy. And if he would embrace that, I think he would embrace his opportunities in the NBA. I believe that he's got to be watching what, say, is going on with a Braden Smith, who's going to be the National Player of the Year.
Well, Stephen Earl has begged him from day one and said it subliminally, not calling him out. Now he's called him out some, but subliminally before, saying, hey, we just don't distribute the basketball very well. And he said it multiple times after multiple games. He goes, you know, you can't come away from a game and only have 6 assists. Total, as a team.
Not just him.
Total. That's what I'm saying. He's talking about everybody. I mean, you look down and Keyshawn Hall has as many assists most nights as Tahad and maybe some other guys. Like, that is truly his role. And I think, I don't know what the problem is with the shot. It's just not good. Look, I don't know that's going to get better. Like, you look down at his stat line and he's 2 of 10 shooting threes almost every night. I don't have an explanation for that, man. But he is a good basketball player that could take on another role, and maybe he is. Maybe he had 6 assists in this last game.
I know it.
Maybe this Arkansas game was a wake-up call for this team saying, we are a good – I told you this. I said, they're not Janai Broome and Dylan Cardwell and Denver Jones and all that. But they are a good team. They've got really good players. You just got to figure out how you play well together. And maybe that Arkansas game showed them what they can do and the blueprint for how they can go win games against teams. You're not going to win them the way you won them last year. But now you go win them this way. This team needs to do it the way they need to do it.
And I like that we played more of our bench. It may not be as solid a minutes as the starters, but
you starting to get them.
And
I said it, man. You did too.
Well,
I told you can't keep playing 6 guys, man.
I know we're at the end of the program, but it's like watching Bucky's team play right now. You know, Brett and I have been seeing this for 15 years. You've got to have your head in the sand if you don't think that's the direction that basketball is going. If you can't play numbers, I'm talking about 10 or 12 guys, and another team is, and they're pressuring you nonstop, and you're only throwing 6 or 7 guys out there on the court.
Dead.
It may look okay until there's 14 minutes left to go in the second half, and they really ramp it up because they can sense that you're faltering. And then next thing you know, you've turned the damn ball over 4 times, and they've got 11 points in a minute, and you're like, what the hell happened? Well, we saw it firsthand, but that's the norm. There was no part of that was out of the norm from what we see. And it's not just Bucky with what he did at Mountain Brook. I see it all around the state. I was talking, there was a game that went on in the state last night, and part of the people that I was talking to that was there last night, the only comment they had was how amazing they were defensively. And I said, y'all, I may just have the privilege of having called the last 18 Final Fours here in this state, but that didn't just start. Nobody wins in this state anymore getting back in a damn zone. They don't do it.
That's been gone. That's out.
That's over.
It's pressure on the ball from the start, the opening tip, to the very end of the game. If you're not full court pressing, forcing people to make it difficult to even get it into the front court, that's the mojo. And it turns into some sloppy basketball a lot of times. But teams that that do that well.
That embrace it.
They do. And I mean, they know going in, we got to be in extremely good shape because all we're going to do is run nonstop till the horn blows.
Yep.
And that's how it is. And it is fast break up and down basketball the entire time.
Man-to-man defense.
That's all it is.
Things that
ain't nobody dropping off. And, you may get in the zone every once in a while, switch out defenses to confuse. Sure. But 90% of the time, it's going to be fast, direct, in your face, relentless pressure all the time. So, all right. So Auburn, Missouri tonight. That game will be on ESPN2. That game tips at 6 o'clock. All right. Some more of our partners here on the program. We can't thank Russell Medical Center enough. One of the top 3 hospitals here in the state of Alabama. Great facilities, great doctors. Your health care is the utmost importance for you and your family. I know you don't want to battle these big cities and the hassle and in and out. That's why you go to Russell Medical Center. They're partnered with UAB Health. I don't really know what else to say. They're one of the top 3 hospitals in the state of Alabama. So go check them out. We'll actually be going over there in February for heart check month, and we'll give you a date on that pretty soon. Alex City Marine, 256-215-3474. You're not going to find a better selection of boats, center consoles, pontoons, Landaus, Blackfins, whatever it is that you're looking for. If they don't have it, they'll go find it too. And they'll accommodate you. And it is boat buying season. I know it's gloomy outside, it's raining, it's cold, the weather sucks, but that's when you go buy a boat. That's when you go get the best deals. You don't wait till the sun's out and everybody's out there gallivanting all over the lake and the bay, and you go, well, we don't have anything, so you got to wait on your friend to call you, and you just bum a ride every week. Go buy your own boat. People will be calling you wanting to get on your boat. And I'm telling you, they've got a beautiful selection of pontoons and center consoles out there for you. Check them out, 256-215-3474. For all of you, I know you can't see this if you're listening on Apple, and you're listening on Spotify, and you're listening on Pandora and iHeart and all that. Do want to say, wherever you get your podcast, that's where we are now. We appreciate that so very much. YouTube, Facebook, we're here every single day.
Tune us in on TV. Don't get our
yet.
TV. Brett has pleaded nonstop over the years that, Randy, don't disregard that TV. That TV, more people come up to me mentioning they see us on TV than anything else.
Because they still do. And everybody thinks that, everybody's gotten away from TV. And they have not. Like, how many of you out there don't have a TV in your house? Anybody? Okay, I didn't think so. And then what about, can you do all kind of different things on your TV now? Absolutely. Can you stream all kind of different things? Here's what we're doing. We're giving you options here, right? And so, yes, all of our online stuff is great, but we started TV a long time ago. We're staying on TV till the end of time. We're not going anywhere. We appreciate it so very much. So if you got Charter Spectrum, which a boatload of you still do, right? And a boatload of you are going back to Charter Spectrum because you're tired of paying for 800 streaming services.
Amen.
So, again, check us out, Charter 701, Channel 80. On the Spectrum dial. But hey, again, appreciate all of you that subscribe to our YouTube channel. I can't say enough. Like, man, I'm humbled about it. It really makes us feel good. We pour a lot of time and effort into this. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it's great that we have awesome families that understand that we're trying to continue to build the best product out here for all of you to tune us in. So, hey, do want to give you a couple programming notes. Faith and I will be having some post-game reaction shows. Again, those are brought to you by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. We will have one tonight after the Missouri game. So we'll be on after the Missouri game. So check that out right here on everywhere that you get all your stuff. YouTube and Facebook will be doing that. We're going to have some on-location stuff coming up. She has a great interview coming up on Friday with Elijah Freeman with the basketball team. So another episode of On the Front Row with Faith is coming up on Friday. We'll get that edited, so that'll come out probably over the weekend.
Brett, where were y'all on the road this week? Just so everyone knows.
All right, we were on the road at Pisgah High School and at Cherokee County High School.
Impressive.
So, very, all the way around. Can't say enough about it. And so check those out. Those will be two. We did 2 shows in one drive, which was crazy. We had a busy day, but those 2 shows will be coming out. The Pisgah show will come out this week, and then the Cherokee County show will come out next week, and then we're headed back to North Alabama. We're going to the northwest part of the state. We won't tell everybody yet where we're going, but go find our On the Road show every single week.
Some record breakers.
Yep.
Coming down the line.
Yep.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Yep. So we've got some things, and then we're going to head down to the southeast part of the state in a couple of weeks that we haven't visited yet. Hey, look, and we do hear all of you out there. We hear all of the, hey, when are you coming to our school? When we're coming to, like, if I had clones of us and we could go everywhere at one time, we would, I promise you. Like, I will say this real quick, and I'll shut up and get off. Cherokee County coach said, man, we don't ever get this up here. And we appreciate y'all so very much for doing this. And so, again, yes, there is a lot of greatness that comes out of this show and a lot of exposure for kids and programs that otherwise wouldn't get it. And they've got a great program up there. I think Cherokee County's 19-2 on the season.
Yeah, Pisgah's really good.
They're always good. And their coach is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's won 9 state championships, and they've had 11. The daggum gym's named after him. I told him, I said, when you pull up in the parking lot and you see the name on your gym, you still come to work. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, but anyway, find us out there for our On the Road show. It's also on Charter Channel 80 and 701, but it's also out there on our HSA Radio Network Facebook page that has eclipsed 30,000 of you guys as well. So we really appreciate all of you so much. All right. Anything else you'd like to add before we get on?
Look forward to tune us in 12-1 today on the Auburn Blitz TV side.
Yep. We'll be back for that. A lot more of this and other things that we'll talk about. But everybody have the best day ever. Do something nice for people. It's just as easy to do that as it is to be mean. So go out there. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you at noon.